Hi and welcome back to my channel. I'm Megan and this is my channel Skipping Stitches. Welcome, it's great to have you here and I hope you really enjoy my content today. As always, if you haven't already, subscribe, give me a thumbs up and hit that notification button so you know when I next release a vlog. Today I'm going to be talking to you about a few things, including how to draft a beautifully neat facing for the back of your sweatshirts and t-shirts. And I'm going to have a quick talk through some of my favourite sewing gadgets. So let me start by telling you what I'm wearing today. You can't see very much. I am wearing a chalk and notch test t-shirt. This is a new pattern, which I have talked about before because I tested it in the test a couple of weeks ago. I initially made the sleeveless tank version for the test, but since then I have gone on to make 3 of the short sleeved version. This is one of them in a plain white cotton jersey with the scoop front and the short sleeves. I have also made one in long sleeves with a high front. This I just think would be great for layering under jumpers in the winter and wearing on its own. The only problem I found with this long sleeve one is the sleeves are really fitted, and that could well be my fault. This jersey probably didn't have quite as much stretch as the pattern recommended. I find that having a bit less than it recommends works really nicely for the neckline. It makes it sit beautifully, but the sleeves are quite tight. It's totally wearable still, and I still really like it. This is in the Calais de Melange petrol colour. I also made a floral rib knit one, which is in the machine right now, so I can't show you that one. And I have got this fabric in pale pink that I'm going to make one, but I'm going to reverse. I'm going to have the scoop at the back and the high neck at the front. I am wearing with a skirt, but you can't really see this. It is the True Bias Mauve skirt, one of my all-time favourites. Tiered maxi skirt in a viscose blend fabric. Yeah, and that's me for today. The sun is shining, it's beautiful, it almost feels like summer. Me and my husband are going to go out for lunch together later, nice treat. He has had the longest weekend ever at work, and so we thought, come on, let's just go out, enjoy the sunshine, have a nice time together. So this is going to be a whistle-stop tour of neck facings for you. Now I must confess, I learnt this technique from Guthrie and Garney kit that I bought a while ago. It's for the Megan Nielsen Jarrah sweatshirt. Many of you will be familiar with this pattern already. It's been around for a long time and it's a really simple sweatshirt pattern like this. This one is in a gorgeous French terry. It's fairly cropped, long sleeves, and a wideish neckline. There are loads of variations to the Jarrah. You can do a turtleneck, you can do a long sort of slouchy version. I can't remember all the versions, I'll try and pop it up for you, but there are a lot of versions, so you get quite a lot for your money with this pattern. I am a huge sweatshirt fan, I wear them all the time. I probably own too many if I'm being honest, but I am in the middle of making another one, which we'll talk about in a second. But when I posted this one on my Instagram, lots and lots of people ask me about this. This is a beautiful neck facing that I've used in the back of the top, and it covers all your raw edges of your neckband, somewhere to put your labels, and it just looks so professional. You see it in a lot of the higher end ready to wear clothes. A lot of my husband's sweatshirts have this, and there's some stitching around the back here. It helps it to last longer, it makes it look neat, and just gives it that little something extra. And I have used the selvage in here to make this cute matching label, and then stitched my little rosy cheeks label in amongst it. So it's a really lovely finish. Lots of people message me on my Instagram account. If you don't already know, my Instagram is @MeganSewsStuff, so feel free to pop along and have a look at everything on there too. You'll see me wearing this. And it's really difficult to explain how to do things like this by typing a message to somebody. So I thought, let's put it on YouTube. I put a poll out on my YouTube just the other day asking what sort of content people wanted on here. And quite a few people said they wanted sew-alongs and sort of hints and tips, that kind of thing, which is marvellous. It is very time consuming and I don't always have the time for that, so bear with me. I'm super busy at the minute. I feel like I'm always saying that, but it seems like I'm getting busier. It's my own fault, I take on too much, but yeah, so I'm going to do this for you today. I'm going to show you how to draft that facing. Let me just grab this. So another kit, well, it's a kit, supplies kit came out this month last week, Guthrie and Garney, and I jumped at the chance to get this gorgeous sweatshirting fabric to make another jarrah. This sweatshirting is a lot thicker. This one was quite a lightweight French terry. This is quite a full-on fleece-backed sweatshirting with not as much stretch to it. So anyway, this is where I'm at right now. I haven't done my side seams or anything because it would be kind of difficult to do it. So I am going to show you how to do the neck facing on this sweatshirt before I do the side seams. And hopefully it'll give you an idea of how you can do it for your garments in the future. And like I said, you can use it on anything. You can use it on t-shirts, sweatshirts, jumpers, pretty much anything. But I'll talk you through that in a second, and I hope you find it really useful. So I'm off over to set up my other camera. Okay, I hope this is filming at the right angle. It may be that it's switched around a bit, so bear with me if it has. First thing we're going to do is get our back pattern piece, okay? So this is, as we can see, the jarrah back piece. This is where our facing is going to go on the back. So I'm basically going to be tracing around this. I'm using some Swedish tracing paper, which, by the way, I still have a discount code on. So if you want to get any of this, you can get 10% off with the code Skipping Stitches. It's fabulous for projects like this, just letting you know. So I'm just going to use some weights to hold that in place. And then let me grab my pen. So what I'm going to be doing is tracing around the neckline here and just up to about here on the shoulder seam. And then I'm going to be drawing a curve. So bear with me while I just do that for you. Yes, I'm left-handed. So all the way around the back facing here, a little bit onto the shoulder seam, literally just a millimetre or two. And this bit here, I'm going to go down around about 9 centimetres because that's going to take me to where it's no longer visible from the outside when I'm wearing it. So I've traced around the neckline, gone down here 8 or 9 centimetres, and now I basically want to join these lines up. So I want a nice smooth curve going up to here. So I'm going to do that by freehand to start with. I want it to come all the way down here, so I've gone, join those lines. As you can see, I've got a little curve there. And then what you can do to make sure you've got it really smooth is you can use a pattern master or a French ruler to get that curve how you want it. So you can just kind of place it on there, draw around the curves. And then I'm going to cut it out and show you what we've got. Okay, so it's all cut out. We've got this little piece here that basically reflects this back piece here. As you can see, it fits really nicely. And we're going to be cutting that on the fold because the back piece is cut on the fold and we want it to go on both sides. So it's a really good way of using up scraps of fabric. You could use contrasting fabric if you fancy, whatever you want. So yeah, I'm going to just write on here that this is the back facing for the jarrah sweater and cut on the fold as a reminder for when I use it later. I've got plenty of this fabric left, so I'm going to go ahead and put this on the fold. Like I said, you only need a really tiny amount, and you can see from the back of this how lovely and fleecy it is. So make sure you've got it on the grain if you can. You can line up the pattern to help you. Make sure you've got enough. Yeah, that's about perfect. So pattern weights on, and I am just going to use my rotary cutter to cut around this little piece of fabric. It's going to be a little bit fiddly at the end here. And there we have our back neck facing piece. So what we want to do now is finish off this raw edge because this is going to be inside your top and it's not got any other finish on it. So it's completely optional how you want to finish it. Do a zigzag stitch, you could do an overcast stitch, you could roll it under like that and stitch it. This one I think is probably too thick to do that. It would cause too much bulk. You could bind it if you had a lighter weight fabric too. I am just going to run it on my overlocker in a coordinating colour fabric. So I'll show you once I've done that. Here we go then, edges are all nicely overlocked and I've got this nice sort of beigey cream thread that coordinates quite well. This is also the perfect moment to pop your label on, so you can stick it on here before you put it in, because obviously you don't want that to be showing from the reverse. So you can play around with this. You can do 1 or 2 labels, you can zigzag the label in, you can put a scrap of fabric over the top, you can do whatever you want. Like I said on the other one, I used a bit of salvage which looked really pretty. And this, look, let me just pop it in to give you an idea before we stitch it. So basically just check that it fits and you haven't made any errors. Effectively, it's going to be in there like that. So that's great. You can't see it when it's stitched in. You're just going to see that bit of fabric. And obviously I want my label on view here too. So I'm going to stitch my label on and then I'm going to show you the fun bit of how we attach it to our neckband. Right, I have stitched in my label, finished off my edges, turned my sweatshirt inside out. This is the back neckband that I stitched on already with my overlocker. Hopefully you can see that. So now we need to attach this to the finished edge of the neckband. Obviously when it's finished, we want it that way. So I'm going to do it the opposite way. So the right side would be technically facing the right side of the fabric. And I'm going to try and stitch it along the previous stitch line on my neckband here. It's quite hard to see because I've used a similar fabric, similar thread to my fabric. But I've marked the center point on my facing and on my neckband, so I'll match them up and then pin it all along the edge here. Okay, so my facing is all pinned onto my neckband. The seam allowance on the jarrah is very narrow, it's only 1/4 of an inch, so I'm going to try really hard to follow my previous line of stitching to make sure that I don't make my neckband any narrower than it already is. I'm going to take that to the machine now. I am going to do this bit with Mariflex thread rather than on my overlocker because I don't want 2 lines of overlocking stitches on here, it would be too bulky. Okay, we are all stitched in place. Now that's on the inside, so let's flip it around to show you what it's going to look like. Looks a bit weird at the minute because we've got a lot of pressing to do next. So I'm going to use a tailor's ham, which is one of these, to press this into place, push all the seam allowances down and get that so that it sits like that basically. And once I have, I'll show you what we do next. So I've pressed everything down really well. I can't emphasize how important it is to get this ironed well, because what we're about to do next is stitch it into place. From the reverse, it will be visible. So you will have like a semicircle along here. And if you haven't ironed this well enough, you'll have little bulky seams. So that bit there looks a little bit bulky still. So I'm going to iron over that again. And I have pinned in place my facing. And I'm going to stitch along my overlocked edge here to keep that in place. I have now stitched that all in place on my machine, followed that curve around the back to secure the facing. So there should be a nice smooth-ish curve here. I've used a straight stitch and you can use Mariflex if you want, because that's what I already had on my machine. Or you can just use regular thread, it doesn't matter. So that's all nice and neat, and then just to completely finish it off, I'm going to top stitch all the way around here and around the back, just to give it that nice professional finish. And we are done. I have finished all of the top stitching, and let me show you how that's looking. I'm going to take this off in a minute because I'm going to try it on and show you. And I did forget to have my mic on earlier, so sorry if it's a bit echoey. So yeah, we're done. This is my jarrah sweater. This is our beautiful facing. I did use a bit of tape to hold this in place before I stitched it, so that needs to come off in the wash. But you can see it's sitting really nicely. Might be ever so slightly off center. And yeah, I've done the top stitching around the front, and I've also top stitched along the hemband at the bottom. I don't always do that, but this is a really bulky fabric and I just had a feeling it was going to annoy me having to iron that seam allowance up every time. So that is now top stitched in place. I haven't done it around the cuffs simply because they're so narrow getting that over my free arm is going to stretch them out, and I think it potentially could look messy. So I'm going to live with the cuffs, but the rest of it is looking good. So let me pop it on and show you. I'll take this off so we don't get loads of microphone noise. Obviously doesn't really go with the skirt I'm wearing, but so here we go. You can see it's just a nice oversized sweatshirt. I did add an inch to the length of this one. Whenever I wear it, I felt like I was constantly kind of pulling it down a bit. So yeah, it's kind of at my natural hip length, I would say. Fairly loose fitting. A lot of people do size down on this sweatshirt. I think I just went with my measurements because I like it loose to wear t-shirts and things underneath. Here's the back, hopefully sitting nice and smooth. It's pretty cute. Leopard print, very on trend at the minute. And this is super thick and snuggly, so it's going to be worn a lot over the autumn and winter months. Not today, it's way too hot today. So I'm just going to take this off again. Okay, there we go. So yeah, 2 sweatshirts there, both the Megan Nielsen Jarrah, both with that beautiful neck facing. Like I said, I did get my initial tutorial from Lauren, and loads of people have asked me, so that's why I've shared it today. I think it does sit nicer in this more lightweight fabric, but it works equally well in the thick fabric as well. I would highly recommend this pattern, especially if you are new to sewing knit and jersey. It's so simple. Literally, you've only got, I think, 1, 2, 3 pattern pieces for the sweatshirt, and then the neckband and everything in the ribbing. It does take a bit of practice getting used to stretching the ribbing and everything on, but the instructions are clear, and hopefully my little video is going to help you do a lovely professional neck facing as well. So definitely give it a go. I'm a huge sweatshirt fan and I have lots of them, so I might do another vlog on my top favourite sweatshirt patterns soon. I really hope you found this helpful. If there's anything that's unclear or you want to ask me questions on, then please leave me a comment below and I will get back to you. In the meantime, happy sewing. I can't wait to see your versions, and I hope you really enjoy trying out this new technique. See you soon.